Well, guys, I'm kind of bummed out right now. Like, I just started, this channel and really beginning to love driving for Uber. And, guys, gas prices are going really high right now. Like, it's almost $5 a gallon right now. Gosh, for the first time in a very long time, I'm actually being forced to consider picking up another job, maybe going back into retail or something. It would be a shame to give up now. I'm doing really well. Uber just gave me a celebratory update, guys. I passed 1,250 trips. That's so close to being halfway to my goal. 1,500 would be halfway to 3,000, so I'm super excited about that. Yeah, this was definitely not the plan. I'm not real pleased that we're at this juncture. Like, I understand that gas prices need to be high right now for a lot of different reasons, so don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, everybody's got it rough. But, also I have to pay the bills. But anyways, welcome back. This is Tired Narc Hunter here. And this week we're going to talk about some pretty cool things again. As promised, I'm going to tease you with the video footage that I'm going to include for this episode, and that is we get to go and visit a very hard to find golf course. I didn't even know this golf course existed until this man had me drop him off there. So we have a nice little ride planned for that in the country. I think we'll enjoy that very much. So, as I've mentioned, I do get a lot of interesting stories from my passengers, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about resignations in keeping with the general theme of work being very difficult. I had this wonderful lady, we're going to call her Jane, and I picked her up a couple of times at her house. Her house was a little difficult to get to, so she was always appreciative that I would pull into her little driveway. And she was so nice. Like, I took her to the post office this one day and happened to mention that I had a letter to mail, and she was like, "Oh, I'll go ahead and mail that for you." And my letter and her package both happened to be going to the same state, which I thought was kind of cool. And anyway, just the nicest older lady, and one day I picked her up from work, and she doesn't talk a lot. She's very sweet, but she said, I've worked at this place for 7 years, and she said, I'm done. She said, I'm done. If they're going to treat me like that, then I'm just going to leave. And I was like, you go, girl. If they're not treating you right, then you get out of there. But I was just thinking, who in the world would treat this lovely older lady badly? I mean, she'd be somebody's fantastic, grandmother or aunt or something, and they can't even treat her well enough. I'm not going to tell you where her job was because it's a pretty big location in Morgantown, but trust me, they should have been taking pretty good care of her. And oh, what a shame that they didn't. I haven't seen her since, so I haven't been able to follow up and check and see how she's doing. I hope she's doing okay. I follow a lot of stuff on my feeds, just to see what other people are going through with the Great Resignation. And some of these people, what they are posting that their bosses told them is absolutely ridiculous. It was like breaking point texts and emails, like expecting people to come in on days that they were promised off and stuff like that. And I had this passenger, this guy, he said that he more or less quit his job, but he was basically fired because what they did was his young child, 2-year-old child, was in hospital, and he called them and let them know, but his boss decided to say that he was a no-call, no-show, and said that they were going to reduce him to working 1 day a week as punishment for not telling them about his son being in the hospital. So he said he just left. I mean, who in the world is going to stay and work 1 day a week? It's like, it amazes me, these companies that don't respect the fact that we need to spend time with our family. I mean, my gosh, when your kid's in hospital, yeah, it's just crazy, you know. That was absolutely not fair treatment of him at all. So I hope that, you know, at his next job that they treat him a lot better than that. Had another guy last week, he told me that this was his last week on the job. He was about to quit, and told me that he's going to be going straight to the media. Apparently there's a lot of stuff going down at this particular workplace that's not good, and he wants to make sure that it all gets exposed. So I was like, well, good for you, good luck with that. I hope that it works. In this case, again, it's a very big company in Morgantown, and I'm not at all surprised, really, that there's bad stuff going down. You know, it kind of sounds like the last job that I had before quitting and starting Uber. So I wish him the best of luck getting that out there. You know, there are just so many companies that are cutting corners. You know, they're not obeying the laws or the codes. They're allowing bullying in the workplace, you know, in spite of everything set up against that. Oh, man, it's just not cool, you know? So in last week's episode, we talked about a conversation I had with a passenger that we're calling Brett. This week, I would like to talk about a conversation I had with a passenger whom I'm going to call Dan. And I'd say it was about the second most interesting conversation that I've had, so I definitely wanted to record it. I actually forgot about it for a while, so it's a good thing that we're doing this. It literally just jumped to my attention again this morning from, you know, something I was watching on the news. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to record that one. So there's obviously a lot of disturbances going on. You know, you can't turn on the news, it doesn't seem like, you know, and not hear about yet another shooting or something like that. And I was just kind of talking with this passenger about the fact that, you know, even just regular people from day to day, how stifling it kind of is anymore. It's like you can't move or do anything, it seems like, without either offending somebody or breaking some sort of law or something like that. And you know, we were just kind of reflecting on the fact that it's like you're being punished for having emotions. Like, we don't have any really good outlet for our emotions, especially like anger, you know, and then we wonder why there's this random shooter that goes around and shoots up a school. It's like, you know, we're not machines. We need some type of an outlet for our emotions, which are healthy. And he brought that up on his own, and I was very much in agreement with his perspective. I thought that was a very good perspective, and we don't really even have a plan for doing that, you know. So I hope that we don't continue to see, you know, bad things happen in the news. I hope that someone realizes that we need to do something about this. And as I was talking to Dan, driving down the road, we were going down Beechhurst, and we were driving past many things, but also driving past this very large parking garage. And that also reminded me of this time that an acquaintance of mine talked about what some of the students like to do. They like to go all the way to the top of the parking garage, and by the top I mean the part that's not accessible by anything. I don't think anybody's actually supposed to be up there. And but this guy, he was, you know, big into parkour. That was really nothing to him, and he was like, do you want to come? And I'm thinking, no, I think I'd rather live, you know. But that just kind of underscored to me, you know, I have not one gameful bone left in my body. Like, I'm just thinking, you know, what if I fall and break my leg? What is that going to cost me? You know, the legal repercussions. What if we get caught up there, you know, someplace we're not supposed to be? And that just kind of reminded me of how, again, like how stifled we tend to live from day to day without even realizing it or thinking about it. Everything just seems to have so many repercussions. I've wanted to do a regular YouTube channel for a long time, and I've been studying and preparing for it for a long time, believe it or not. But one of the first things that I realized is that, anybody can record a video and post it. The real question is the sustainability of it. And that was when I realized my life is extremely boring and I don't do enough to be worth video recording on a regular basis. Sad, but true. At the time, I was just caught up in the whole thing that we all are. You work long hours Monday through Friday. You're too tired of an evening to do anything but, maybe prepare dinner. And you only have 2 days of weekend to get the rest of your chores done and maybe do something fun. I don't know. And when you're living like that, I didn't even have a steady hobby at that time. Kind of don't now. But at least I'm trying. And whenever I became an Uber driver, that's when I realized I finally have a sustainable source. You have to kind of be doing something adventurous in order for your life to be worth recording. And I don't want to get into the whole Facebook style of like keeping up with the Joneses make your life interesting. Just actually living. Like living for real, So I hope that's what this YouTube channel can be about. I hope it can be about living for real, hopefully having a few adventures, maybe a few misadventures, good conversations with good people. I feel like that's what life should be all about anyway, don't you? Alright, well, we have kind of a long drive out here into the country. I sped this section of the dash cam footage up just a little bit to make it quicker, but to where we can still kind of enjoy the scenery. And I'm just going to take this time to posit a theory that I have had for a while now, and that is, with this job market and the way that it is, I propose that jobs are not just competing amongst themselves. They are, and that's a good thing. They're competing to offer higher wages in order to keep employees. They're competing to offer better benefits, and that's good. We want employees to have employers that are competing against one another because it's in the employee's best interest. However, my thinking is, with all of these people not wanting to come back to work and complaining about their working conditions, and not wrong, really not wrong about some of these working conditions, I propose that what companies are actually competing with is our leisure time. Namely, I would say video games, and here is why. Now, we just made that left-hand turn. We're going to be approaching the golf course, so feel free to enjoy the scenery while I continue to talk. However, here's my thinking, and my thinking is based on driving for Uber and the benefits that I suddenly have that I never had before. Number one, I don't have a boss shouting over my shoulder. Isn't that part of the freedom of playing your own video game, is there's nobody telling you how to do it? You know what I'm saying? And then another thing is the fact that I can start or end whenever I feel like it on the Uber driver app. It's the same with your video games at home. You can pick them up and put them down whenever you want to. You're not locked in, And then another thing is the fact that I get to go out and about. So many people are stuck in these heartless desk jobs and never see the light of day. Look at the scenery out here. Look how beautiful this freaking golf course is. Didn't even know that this even existed.
I mean, human beings just weren't meant to be packed into tiny offices or windowless spaces. And you get to see a little bit of that, right out here, sunshine and trees. You need something that's a little bit more inspiring than just four walls. And just by coincidence, driving for Uber provides that. Obviously not every job can do that logistically, but there are ways of making the workplace a little bit more inspiring, a little bit less cold, but everybody's in such a big hurry to make money. They're not really thinking long term. They're not thinking in terms of what's going to keep employees if they don't absolutely have to. And so that's where I'm thinking, long term into the future, a lot of companies are going to be surprised, the lengths to which they're going to have to go to keep people. I mean, think about the innovations we've had already. We're allowing people to work from home, which I think is an excellent idea. It allows you more family time and a more peaceful environment. We're allowing pets in the workplace. That was an awesome idea. I wish I had gotten to try some of that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the freedom that you think of when you think of video games, the fact that you're free to move around, the fact that you're, free to explore and talk to people and to start when you want and end when you want, and the fact that it's usually in some type of inspiring environment, I think we need to keep these key things in mind because, look, there are a lot of people who aren't going to be motivated to work, and they do have a point, and it wouldn't be that hard to insert some of these elements into jobs that exist. I just don't think people value long-term mental health. You know what I'm saying? So I guess this is also kind of a pitch for Uber because they do make my life so much better. It's a much better working environment, and, we can debate all day whether it's a real job or not, or a side gig, or what have you, but I like the elements that Uber brings. You don't have to have a boss that shouts at you all day and makes you feel like a child. It just doesn't make any sense. So, I'm hoping to see a lot more innovations in the future coming up and see some much better workplaces for employees.
Well, thank you all for watching my channel. As usual, please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope to keep up with these on a regular basis. And look, I did really good. I recorded an entire episode with the same set of clothes on. That means I did it all in one day, which has not happened yet. So either really boring for you, but it's really great for me. Great accomplishment. So I hope that you're enjoying. Come back next week. Thanks. Bye.